Somewhere here, hold down on the road. There's no camp. But like I said, it's gonna be different, not better. And I'm not saying this happened, I'm just saying it happens. People know they're not being honest. They want you to, they want the dog and pony show, they want to be able to say this. They don't want to send it to you. Still not clear. Just get it back. By the time you get to the bottom, it's slimy because it grows. Yeah. Ginger. Little bracelet my daughter made me. I love it. Gives me, every time we have this thing, I keep a bag at my house. Okay. I keep a bag at my house.
Right.
And she keeps a bag at her house, and I see her every day, sometimes 2 times, 3 times a day. I talk to her on Messenger 100 times a day. She calls at least once a day, every day. But, so we switch bags. Every day she brings a bag with some with stuff in it. It's kind of nice, but I wish she'd stop because she's filling up my house. This is for next week.
If you don't think you need it. Yeah, it's just if you're concerned about
And that's how he feels about that.
Is that the alarm?
what it was.
John being John.
It was an alarm. Okay.
Time to get up, John?
Yeah.
I'm the alarm in our house.
It's just a matter of someone to
He doesn't have a phone alarm. I probably don't.
You are,
Because it takes a minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're in town, you're
Right. I don't know if they permanently picked their seats, but.
Yeah, I was down just today. They're harmless.
I do know that. He was on the street. Not mine.
I ran both.
Yeah. Changing the rule. A little bit of both. Just wondering where we are with it. Right, should be coming pretty soon. Yeah, it's not a lot.
Mike, you have that copy?
I was gonna say.
They did that last year.
But here's another piece of case.
Or you go for no more than 2 nights.
That's happening Sunday?
Between now and then, then we'll go down like last
Ready?
We'll hype it up so there's no spread left on Friday.
Ready when you are, yeah. Thank you, sir. Here's some more.
And it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this agenda meeting the special meeting to set the agenda to order. First, we're going to do a moment of silence and then the Pledge of Allegiance. And I would like us to remember Carol Stepanik, who was a resident and a neighbor, but also very close to someone here on council currently, and she will be missed. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a roll call, please.
Here.
Councilman Graff?
Here.
Councilman Morrisville?
Here.
Out of my game here. Councilman Parker?
Here.
Councilman Hall?
Here.
Councilman Robinson?
Here.
Councilman Sherwood?
Here.
Councilman Lee?
Here. Next week.
Okay, we'll move on to announcements and presentations, and I'll pass it over to the borough manager.
Yes, Mr. President, just an announcement that there will be an executive session following tonight's meeting for the purpose of discussing legal and personnel matters. And also, if we can indulge council, we would like council to revote on an item that was a motion that was made from the floor at the last meeting. There was a procedural technicality, and we would like you to cast that vote again tonight if you're willing to call it for a vote. And that was council's motion to authorize me or the administration to begin the process of reinstating the furloughed police officer.
If I may, Mr. President,
It is? Oh, that's the read.
would it be possible to, I do realize that was kind of a vague motion, to change that a little bit to just reinstate him or reaffirm him, because all the requirements have been fulfilled. Officer Zupano was required to take a physical and psychological exam. They've both been completed, and the results have been turned into your borough manager. So at this point, there's no reason that it can't be 100% completed or affirmed. And obviously, that would help Chief McClay with filling of the schedule. Thank you.
I would do that first. Yeah.
All right, I'd like to clean up the procedural error first, and we can move on when it comes up. If anybody feels like they want to make the motion, that's up to them.
Could, Mr. Parker, could you read what the motion will read again so that anyone from the public who wishes to come forward can address? What is the motion actually going to say?
No, it's not. It was the motion from the reorg meeting, which I will have to do from memory. I believe it was a motion to direct the borough manager to start the rehire recall process for the police officer, Gary Sapano, who was terminated for financial reasons. Can I have a, should we do it now?
Well, you want to wait and do it after public comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so then that's.
We want to take public comment on it.
Okay. So 5 is public comment. Do we have anybody signed up? We do. Donna Wilson, please state your name and address, and then you have 3 minutes. I'll let you know when you have 1 minute left.
Donna Wilson, East Post Road. I'm just coming here tonight. It's that time of the year that we need to reserve the Saturday in December for Morrisville's Winterfest parades. Hot Rides has offered to host the parade again for 2020. And I'd like to reserve Saturday, December 5th, 2020. The parade will line up at 9 o'clock, where we always line up on West Post Road, and we will step out at 10. So we just want to reserve the date of December 5th, 2020. And then on a personal note, it's been real nice to see Officer Luna's presence back down in the manor. I've seen him in a few spots that I know he usually kind of sits there and watches. I've seen some trucks pulled over already, and I hope this means that we're going to move forward and get back to where we were when the truck traffic was much more under control. So thank you.
Thank you. Jane Berger?
I'm sorry, Jane.
No problem, Donna. Okay. Jane Berger, 90 West Maple Avenue, Morrisville. I'm a bit confused. You're going to add a motion tonight to deal with a technical error from last week, but yet I see under action items for next Tuesday, 9C, which is the motion to reinstate Gary Sapano, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to do two motions, one tonight, and then next Tuesday. I'm a bit confused on that, but I would like to speak to that. It's my understanding this action is being considered to restore the police department, to the 10 full-time officers, of course excluding the chief, which would be 3 corporals and 7 patrol officers. Before making a decision, a vote on this, I would suggest that you review the staffing table, the manning table for the police for 2020, and you will see that 7 officers are on the payroll and in the budget. So the 7th officer has already been restored and is in place for 2020. When the new officer was let go, there were, of course, 3 corporals and then 6 full-time officers here, and 1 officer stationed at the school under a grant. That officer is now on patrol for the borough, bringing the budgeted staffing, once again, restoring it to 10 full-time officers. The vote you are considering would, in fact, increase the police department full-time officers to 11. And you need to look at the, I think, programmatic needs for that as well as a long-term financial commitment. And you might want to also review the annual statistic for the police department for trends for the last 4 to 5 years. And Mr. Paul, I do recall your position during your campaign that really was to restore the police department to 10 full-time officers. And happily for 2020, that has now been done in place. The situation is, of course, complicated by the fact that a full-time officer had to be placed on administrative leave until his legal court case is resolved. And it's unfortunate that it was not decided this past week, but it's been continued until March, I understand. I urge you to have an executive session with your legal counsel and your solicitor, find out legal ramifications regarding the situation, possible litigation to the borough, and the timing for any additional hires of part-time staff. It was announced to have an executive session, and I really would hope that you would do that before you would act on this motion regarding the reinstatement. Mr. Paul, as an attorney, I believe you know the importance of basing decisions on facts and documentations, and I hope counsel would agree. As for the officer that you want to restore, I understand he decided not to work full-time this year, but elected to take unemployment instead, and I wonder where the team spirit is, because it would have helped our staffing during this year when we had the officer out for legal problems. Thank you.
That closes public comment. 6A is approval of the Borough Council agenda meeting of 12/10/19. 6B is the Borough Council regular meeting of 12/16/19. If anybody has any corrections that they need, please get them into the administration as soon as you can so we can vote on that on next Tuesday. Moving on to 7. 7A is the treasurer's report. 7B is a call for a motion to approve the bill list and pay the bills. Then 8 is a report. 8A is the mayor's report. 8B is the junior council person's report. And I would like to add a 8C and return the police chief's report to the agenda.
Mr. President, can you put that as 8B?
Can't hear you.
Okay, and we can switch it around.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, then we'll move on to 9, which is action items. 9A is a call for a motion to approve the Earth Day celebration to be held on Saturday, April 25th, 2020, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the open field located at the intersection of Delmore and Pennsylvania Avenues. A tree will be planted at the Riverfront Preserve in honor of Earth Day, sorry. Yeah, same thing. 9B is a...
Can we ask questions on that, Mr. President?
Sure, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Just to confirm, in the past, they've planted it in the open space. Now they're going to plant in the Riverfront Preserve?
That's the plan.
And have they gone through the MEAC?
I don't know if they've made contact with them yet. It's definitely a to-do item. I think we're waiting for this approval first.
Anybody else? 9B is a call for a motion to appoint a new council member from the First Ward to fill the unexpired term to January 3rd, 2022. Anybody want to add anything?
Have we received any letters for that yet?
We have not.
I think we're going to move things around. I think we're going to make 9C the motion to correct the procedural mistake, which is...
Well, actually, Mr. President, remember, this is your agenda for next Tuesday.
Oh, so we're going to do it at the end, all right.
Not for tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do that in new business then, right?
Yeah, you can do it right now after you discuss 9C if you wish.
Okay, all right. All right, 9C is a call for a motion to reinstate Gary Sapano as a full-time probationary police officer.
So this is in addition to what we're probably going to vote on tonight?
9C is the motion that you can vote on either tonight or next Tuesday at your regular meeting. Remember, by the way, the regular meeting's Tuesday, not Monday. And somebody did show up on the wrong night last year, so I'm just reminding you, of course, force of habit. It's a national holiday. Yes, but regardless of what you decide to do with 9C, you need to take a revote to correct the procedural error from last week.
What was the procedural error?
The motion, there's an unanticipated motion from the floor that was not on the agenda and should have been open for public comment, and it wasn't.
Just as a point of order, if we're doing procedural here, what about updating the manning table? We're going to add a position and not have it on the manning table?
You can also do a motion to amend the manning table with the new addition if you wish.
I mean, if we're doing it procedurally, I think that you would have to do both, right?
Well, council's action to do it automatically adjusts it either way, so I would defer to the solicitor, but I think it might be redundant. But it could certainly be made as part of the motion, whoever wishes to move it.
It can be done either way, but it'll be automatic if you add an officer and make that, it becomes part of your manning tables.
Okay.
You don't have to make a specific motion.
Will that mean if we lose an officer, we'll have to replace them?
No, you're never required to.
Okay.
No.
I'd prefer to wait till next week till someone comes up with a way to pay this officer.
Well, I think there's two questions being asked here. 9C is up for discussion because it's on your agenda for next week, and I think the council president and the mayor are raising a question as to whether council's interested in voting on it tonight. But even before you do that, I believe the council president's going to entertain a motion to retake last week's vote to cure the procedural technicality. Am I right, Mr. Solicitor?
That is correct.
So, Mr. President, it would probably be best to call for a motion to correct the procedural error.
We're not giving that a number, we're just calling it as a motion.
Right.
Okay. And I'd like to call for a motion to correct the procedural error for the motion at the reorg meeting on January 6th, 2020, which was a motion to direct the borough manager to start the recall, rehire process for the terminated officer, Gary Sapano, who was terminated for financial reasons. Can I have a motion? Can I have sorry, I move it. Can I have a second? I make the motion. Can I have a second?
I can't hear you.
I have a second.
Second.
All right, so it's moved and seconded. We'll have, just ask Virginia to call the roll.
Questions?
We did.
Well, we did public
we
comment
did it
first,
before.
but, yeah.
Roll call, please.
Yep.
Councilman Bowers?
Don't we have discussion first?
Yep.
Discussion, go ahead. Sorry.
My only comment on this is I know we're going to probably vote the same way we did last time, but I think before we vote Tuesday night or tonight on reinstating an officer, I think we first should seek guidance from our Labor Council, who's been involved in the process throughout.
I 100% agree with Mr. Bowers. I'd also like to hear how it's being, what's the plan for it being paid for? I'm not sure why that's funny, but I'd like to know how it's being paid for also.
Question, Mr. Parker. What would the need for Labor Council to weigh in on this be? Or maybe this is for the attorney.
If I may, just to echo to that, it was just stated that Labor Council's been involved with this, and he has not this rehiring. He's probably unaware of it unless the manager reached out to him and told him.
Yeah, I can tell you that Labor Council is well aware of it and reviewed and signed off of all of our correspondence related to this.
Well, that's good news if he signed off, because I know the civil service solicitor has reviewed it, and there seems to be no issue there.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't contact the civil service solicitor. I didn't see a need.
One thing clarified. Was he fired or was he laid off?
He was furloughed.
So he wasn't fired, correct?
The letter was a letter of termination of employment, so it's the same thing. He was terminated for financial reasons, right, not for cause. We have a roll call, please?
Councilman Bowers?
No.
Councilman Drysdale?
No.
Councilman Parker?
Yes.
Councilman Paul?
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherlock?
Yes.
And Councilman Yeager?
No.
Motion carries. 4-3. Okay.
Mr. President, could you read the motion now as it's been adopted? I'm still not clear exactly what the wording is. I understand we're trying to cure the irregularity from the reorg meeting, but what is the motion we just voted?
It was the motion that was made at the agenda meeting to to direct the borough manager to start.
No, I know, I made the motion.
Yes.
But what was the action we just took that rectified the fact that it wasn't put out for public comment?
We revoted it, and there was a time for public comment, so. We corrected the procedural error of not having, because it was an added motion.
Okay, because I just want to state for the record and for the other council members that while I agree with the motion as made tonight, I think that it's important to defer until the full council meeting next week for the final vote.
Too late. You already voted yes.
No, excuse me. Mr. Yeager, I'm sorry. What do you mean it's too late?
You just voted yes.
I voted yes to, we were rectifying the fact that the motion was not was not put out for public comment.
Right.
But I recognize that the community is extremely motivated to speak out on this issue, and I don't want to prevent them from the opportunity. If anyone wants to say something further at next meeting, that's fine. I certainly advocate reinstating Officer Zambano, but I also want to make sure that whatever we're doing now will be enough to rehabilitate or correct the error, and also give the public an opportunity to express their sentiment.
By correcting the error, it's a done deal. There's nothing else to express next week.
On the correction vote, however, you're still going to have to vote on 9C either tonight or next week.
Fair enough.
Exactly, and that's what I was suggesting we wait until next week.
The motion that we corrected tonight was to have the borough manager and the administration start
the process for reinstatement.
which would have basically call him up, have him come in, fill out paperwork. He needed to take both the physical and the psychological exam again. That's what that motion was for. Next week is the motion to actually reinstate him so that he can start working.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
Right. And then there will be time for public comment on that motion next week.
Thank you.
So now we're back to 9C, which is a call for a motion to reinstate Gary Sapano as a full-time probationary police officer.
Yes, and the question is, do you wish to call this for a vote tonight or wait until 1 week from tonight?
No, I believe we should wait. I believe that's what.
I can confirm the mayor's comment that the administration is satisfied at this point with the current status of the employee in question, and we're ready to move ahead when council is.
May I say something,
Sure.
Mr. President?
Sure, go ahead.
So with what you just said, then we could hire him now.
Yes.
Mr. President?
I'm not going to stop anybody from making a motion from the floor, but, I mean, we do want to afford the public the opportunity to speak out on the matter, either in support or opposing it. So my recommendation would be to wait till the next meeting, but like I said, I'm not going to even try to stop anybody from making a motion if they.
Mr. President, if I may, just to follow up on my earlier comments and yours as well, I agree with you that I think this should be reserved for a public council meeting next week. I think it's important to note that my initial motion from the reorg meeting was to start the process, which we've done. Right. Unfortunately, we did that without the proper formalities, and we've corrected that. But I still think it's important that the process is as important as the result. And I think it's important for the process to allow the public final comments before we take a final vote on it.
Anybody else?
I respect that. That's a good idea.
I agree with it.
Okay, so we're going to leave 9C as is.
Yes.
For Tuesday night.
For Tuesday night.
Are we going to have any discussion on how that's going to be paid for?
I'm pretty sure we will.
Sounds like we will.
9D is a call for a motion to approve the Easter egg hunt sponsored by the Morrisville Yardley Rotary Club to be held on Saturday, September 11th.
April.
April 11th in Williamson Park from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Any comment? Anybody want to add anything?
Has that been cleared with, I don't want to use the word cleared, but has the schedule been worked out with regards to baseball and their opening day?
We haven't received their 2020 schedule yet, but we have been in touch with them about it. And this is an annual recurring event. And depending on where Easter has fallen in any given year, there have been times, I understand in the past, where We've kind of been on top of each other on that particular day, but we'll be efforting to work that out.
Okay.
And we haven't had that issue for a few years now.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Given that Mrs. Wilson came up to speak about the Winterfest, and I think she's also provided Virginia with the paperwork, could we put that motion on, also put that on Tuesday, please? Motion to approve the December 6th, is that correct?
Yeah, we can add it.
Yeah. 5th, is it?
So that will be 9E.
Yes. December 5th, 2020. Okay, so the motion to approve the Winterfest Parade for December 5th, 2020 is now 9E.
The motion will read also using the regularly designated route, I would imagine.
Yeah, we.
Is it changed at all, the route? That'll go with the chief.
Chief McClay and I have been talking a little bit about that in Hot Rides because this is their third year hosting it and we don't go past them. So we're trying to figure out if it's feasible to go down to, at some point down to Delmore, to the corner and back. But there's also the problem with the traffic coming off the bridge, so.
Okay, well, that would be nice.
We need to talk with them.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, we're not doing this tonight, it's just for discussion. I mean, if you want us to add any for Tuesday night, we can.
All right.
May I add
Go ahead.
something?
Sure.
When the baseball has their opening day parade, they actually go all the way down to the bridge too, and they work it out, so I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out.
To the chief and the coverage that we need.
Okay.
If we put that sign that sits in front of the firehouse and hasn't moved in about a year down there by the bridge, like a week before this happens, and say, like, there's going to be a parade here on Saturday, and give people that are driving on that road a week notice, wouldn't that be a good idea?
We do that when the Trenton Marathon goes on. We move things around.
Same thing.
Okay, there's a couple of housekeeping issues for council. Council committees. I need to establish council standing committees and any changes to it and the membership on there. I'll have something together for Friday's packet. There's not going to be any dramatic changes in anything, maybe just some slight name changes. And then give the opportunity for,
Did you get my message?
no,
I sent you one the other day. All right.
by mail?
I'll have to double check it. Yeah, on email.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
Basically, give the council members the opportunity to volunteer, and hopefully we have enough volunteers for the different committees. All right, so, and then we also have board and commission appointments. The Environmental Advisory Council has 2 3-year appointments that expired on 12/19/22. Those appointments actually expired in December on 12/19/19. We also have the Economic Development Corporation. They have 3 3-year appointments that expire on 1/21/23. Those currently on their term expires on the 19th of this month. The Municipal Authority has 1 5-year appointment, which expires on 1/5/25. The current appointment expired on the 5th of this month. The Zoning Board hearing has 1 3-year term to expire on 1/2/23, and that current term expired on 1/6 of this month. The Planning Commission has 1 4-year appointment that will expire on 1/2/24. That term, current term expired on the 6th of this month as well. The Civil Service Commission has one 6-year appointment that will expire on 1/5/26, and one appointment to complete an unexpired term through 1/3/22. Those are what's positions on the boards and commissions that are open. We've received some letters of interest. I believe the Environmental Advisory Council has nobody who's sent in a letter. Is that right? Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. If anybody in the public, watching at home or in the audience here is interested, you have I'd like to get letters in by the end of the week if possible, so we can start appointing people. So we don't have any issue with some of these boards and commissions having problems with quorum. So,
Yeah, no, the only EAC thing.
The only
was a
EAC? Okay.
Resignation. Yeah.
EAC, but has two vacancies, yes. Okay. All right, on to 10. Do we have any unfinished business?
I know.
To anybody else? 11 is new business. Does anybody have anything new they want to bring? 12 is comments.
Under new business. For the agenda meetings, would we be able to move the agenda meeting down to the table instead of sitting up here?
I was actually thinking of that.
Is that a suggestion?
You can fix the audio.
Well, the conference table does have audio, but I can tell you it is not as clear as this, especially if you have multiple people talking over each other. Not that council would ever do that. But, and I think that was part of the reason for moving the agenda meetings back up to the dais, but I'll meet anywhere, I don't care.
Can that be fixed?
Sure. How much are you authorizing us to spend on it?
Well, is John back there? Like, hey, John, what's the gain on those mics right now? All the way up?
I assume they are, yes.
You assume they are?
Not my expertise.
Are there only 2 microphones down there?
No, there's 4.
There are
There's 4 over there. Those microphones should easily pick all of us up, but.
Yeah, because remember when we had, the new council members weren't seated yet, but when we had the budget meeting, that was one of the comments was the audio was weak.
Weak.
Yeah.
I have Mr. President, another suggestion that I don't know if this would go over well with the council or not, would be a change in the meeting night from a dreary long Monday to maybe someday later on in the week. I don't know if anyone. No, not Friday night. No Fridays. If anyone would like to.
I'm sorry, Mr. Parker. Mr. Robinson, are you talking about our regular meeting?
Yeah, the regular meeting. It used to be on Tuesdays, way back when, and then I guess it got moved to Mondays.
I mean, I guess it's something we can discuss a little further and think about it.
Okay.
I think there are 3 times in the year that we have to change it to Tuesday.
Yeah, because of the federal holidays on a Monday. Memorial Day, Martin Luther King Day, Labor Day.
Right.
That's 3 right off the bat.
Right. So.
But it's the third Monday. It's not every.
Yeah.
It's not every holiday Monday. It's just the third Monday when something falls there.
Right.
So Memorial Day is usually the last.
Oh, that's true. So that wouldn't affect it. I stand corrected. And again, we're looking to see what, if anything, in the borough, other meetings conflict with a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Thursday evening.
Haven't we already advertised for this year? Meetings
We have, but we can re-advertise.
at an additional expense.
How much will that seriously cost?
You really want to know?
Say again?
$30.
30 bucks?
Yeah.
It's an hour plus salary.
We'll keep that.
Not to add gasoline to the fire, but the staff would also rejoice if we were able to get down to one meeting a month. I know you're all probably sick of hearing me say that, but that would also be a cost savings, by the way.
No problem with that.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it, but
If we go down to one meeting a month, this would be a non-issue, but I do like the idea of sitting down at the table. I think that it's important for us to be able to sit together, look at each other, work together, and not necessarily just be, shouting out to the airwaves or the folks here. But if we can't get mics, and I do know that they're not very strong.
Just want to comment on the flip side of that. The people watching at home won't be able to tell who's saying what if they don't know voices. At least here they have a chance of seeing your mouth move and hearing your voice.
There's drawbacks to every
everything,
benefit. Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
I watch the meetings from home and I can't see your mouths move. Just FYI.
Some people are talking without them moving.
Some people make hand gestures while they talk too.
All right, those are two things that we'll have to think about, and I'm not opposed to one meeting a month. But you need a consensus for that.
That doesn't commit you to not having a second meeting if you need it, right? So.
Yeah, no, they're already advertised, so if we needed it, we could certainly use it and leave it standing, and if we don't need it, we just cancel it.
Cancel it. Right.
idea.
But that's at the pleasure of council.
Not making a decision tonight.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else want to add anything? I guess that's kind of a melding of 11 and 12, new business and borough officials. Does anybody else have anything to add under borough officials?
I'd like to add one thing in regards to the one meeting a month. We have 3 incoming council members, and I think it would behoove us to have 2 meetings for a while anyway, until everyone gets on board with what's going on in the borough.
Noted. And I agree.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I just want to comment on that too, in a sense of, I know two meetings is more of a pain a month, but it's also a good chance for us to sit here, discuss, sit on some things for a few days, find out additional information, and then either discuss again or vote another night, rather than trying to take in all information at once, maybe not having all information and voting on it.
We'll anticipate having agenda meetings for the foreseeable future, and if at some point we decide that, as a body, that all right, if nobody else has anything else.
How much money will we save having one meeting a month?
Well, we'd have to do a calculation, but you got staff time, you have the solicitor's time.
I know we have.
I'm not sure we'd save a lot in electricity or heat, but.
Well,
and staff time, they're getting paid regardless, right?
Would it be $100? Would it be $30? Would it be $1,000? Would it be, how much would it be?
In the course of a year, it'd be
hours.
thousands of dollars, yes. That's correct.
Thousands.
Yeah, yes, correct.
It's a reason to do it now.
100%. My feeling is you can do whatever you want, but we have Bristol and Warminster and TOFA, and we do the agreements for Falls and a number of other municipalities, and everybody meets once a month, irrespective of how big they are. Bristol Township has 60,000 people in it, et cetera, et cetera. Warminster has 35,000. and they're able to do it with the meeting once a month, but it involves, of course, use of, which we use now, email and what have you, and what have you. But that's completely, you're free to have as many meetings a month as you wish. That's certainly.
Well, actually, free isn't the right.
Well, I'm saying you have a right to,
Right.
your right to vote. I have no say in that. I'm just telling you, if you ask me a question,
no
will
pun
it save us
intended.
money? Will it save us money? The answer is yes, it will.
Okay.
That's an honest answer. If I could turn this mic off, it could be better.
Ms. Park, could I just comment? I would agree with Eileen, though, that I think that for the time being, we should probably continue as often as we feel necessary.
Plus, you're going to have
There's nothing,
Also, you're going to have a fourth new person joining you at some point.
and
So-
and there's, until we get squared away and find out really what's, things that we don't know yet. So, and we might need that extra time.
Why I said, I think for the foreseeable future, we're going to continue to have special meetings to set the agenda.
Okay?
All right, if nobody else has anything under budget, borough officials, 13 is motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
This meeting's adjourned. Do we have an executive session?
All those in favor, say aye.
Yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I didn't think that one was going to have a...
If anybody needs to take a quick break to use the facilities, and then we will reconvene in the caucus room.
40 minutes, I hope you don't have to go to the bathroom already.